My parents banned me from helping my little brother with homework. 3 weeks later, they stood in front of his teacher with nothing to say. I started tutoring Eli when he was in 4th grade, not because anyone asked me to, because I came home one afternoon and found him crying over a math worksheet he'd been staring at for 2 hours. I sat down next to him and we worked through it together. That became our thing. Every night after dinner, we'd sit at the kitchen table and I'd help him work through whatever he was struggling with. By 5th grade, his teacher told my parents he was one of the strongest students in the class. My parents nodded and smiled and said thank you. Then they came home one evening and decided I was the problem. My mom said it first. She'd been reading something online about siblings creating unhealthy dependencies. She said Eli needed to learn how to struggle on his own, that I was always swooping in, and he'd never develop real resilience if I kept rescuing him. My dad backed her up immediately, the way he always does when he wants to seem like a united front. They sat me down like it was a formal meeting. From now on, you stay out of it. If Eli has homework trouble, he figures it out himself or asks us. You're not his tutor, you're his sister. I asked calmly what they planned to do when he got stuck. My dad said that was their responsibility, not mine. My mom said this wasn't a conversation. I nodded and walked upstairs. The first week, Eli knocked on my door every night. I told him I couldn't help anymore, that mom and dad had a new rule. He looked at me the way only a 10-year-old can, like the ground had shifted under him and he wasn't sure where to stand. I hated it. I closed my door and sat on my bed and listened to him go back down the hall. My parents tried. I'll give them that much. The first night, my dad sat with Eli for 40 minutes on a long division problem before announcing that Eli just needed to focus harder. My mom tried the following night and ended up on her phone Googling the steps, then reading them aloud in a way that confused both of them. By the end of the second week, Eli had stopped asking anyone for help. He was just guessing, filling in answers to get through it. His teacher emailed at the end of week 3. She'd noticed a sharp drop in the quality of his work and wanted to schedule a conference. My parents went without telling me. When they came home, the house was very quiet. I heard them in the kitchen talking in low voices. My mom said the teacher had been direct. Eli was disengaged. His last 2 assignments showed he wasn't understanding core concepts, and if the pattern continued, it could affect his placement for middle school. My dad came and knocked on my door that night. He started to say something about how maybe the rule had been applied too rigidly. I let him finish. Then I asked him what exactly had changed about Eli's situation in the last 3 weeks besides the fact that no one was helping him. He didn't answer. I went back to the kitchen table the next evening. Eli sat down across from me with his backpack like no time had passed. We worked through an hour of fractions. He got it. He always gets it when someone takes the time to actually explain it. My parents watched from the doorway for a few minutes and then walked away without saying anything. There was no apology, no formal acknowledgement that the rule had been a mistake. That's not how my parents operate. What happened instead was that 2 weeks later, my mom mentioned casually at dinner that it was good Eli had someone patient to study with. My dad said something about how some kids are just wired to learn better in pairs. I didn't correct either of them. Eli made 100 on his next test. He put it on the fridge himself, right at eye level, without asking permission. My parents signed it and moved on. I looked at it every morning for a week. That was enough for me.